Guys, welcome back. Hope you're all doing very well. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for 710 subscribers as a recording of this YouTube video. I really do much appreciate it. And remember that if you do enjoy the content, hit the sub button to help reach a 1K goal. Also, a very quick shout out to these individuals for being my most recent subscribers. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to be doing the list like that from now on instead of the whole overlay edited thing, because at the end of the day, sometimes I have more and it is a hell of a pain to just individually edit them when I could just screenshot it and put it up like that. So what do I have for you guys today on, well, this Wednesday? Well, we have a Excalibur build. Excalibur Umbra, Excalibur, it doesn't really matter which one you are using with it, both will work okay. Now the thing is with this build, it is very squishy, so you will be needing to be invisible most of the time. This is not a tanking build. This is just purely to do as much damage as possible. Now, if you want to do a different type of build with Excalibur, of course there's many builds for Excalibur out there. Of course I'm using Umbra as well, so my forma count is a tad bit higher than what it normally would be for this build to run efficiently. This build is literally built around the premise of I do so much damage you cannot kill me. But if that's not your playstyle, of course that's totally understandable as well. Yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with a tad bit more gameplay, and then we'll go over to the build segment, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, so onto the build for Excalibur, or Excalibur Umbra. Now just one quick thing to note. Yes, I do have some Archon shards in here. You can use these, of course, they will just help immensely. But overall, you need the melee crit damage ones if you really want to get a lot of damage out of them. Otherwise, it is not necessary. You will still hit like a damn truck. Now, for the build itself, this is a high forma build, but only because, of course, the Umbra slots. Now the Umbra slots themselves, you know, they aren't much of an issue, but I just didn't want to forma over them because Umbra forma is very expensive, so I just did not do that. So that is why I have 6 forma into this Excalibur. I think you can get away with like 4 forma in total if you really want to, but that is entirely up to you. Now this build is straight up strength and duration because we are using evade once again from site 9. Now evade on Excalibur Umbra or Excalibur is very easy to keep up with your chromatic blade. If you just aim slightly towards the head of enemies a little bit higher than you normally would, you will get a lot of headshots with your heavy attack and basically continue on indefinitely in your evade, so just keep that in mind. So growing power, more damage, of course, chromatic blade, awesome. This works always with Excalibur, it's really amazing. Precision intensify to further increase the damage of your Exalted blade. Transient fortitude, more damage. Prime continuity, more duration for your evade, and of course the drain on your Exalted blade is a little bit less then. Augur secrets, more damage. Narrow-minded, more duration, because you need duration on this build. Equilibrium to help upkeep with your energy constraints, because it is a hungry build. You are going to be needing a lot of energy, but once you get it rolling, you are very comfortable. Trust me, you will be very comfy once you get the ball rolling. And then blind rage. So we also have the Arcane's Arcane Crepuscular. Once again, if you're running any type of invisibility on your frame, there is absolutely no reason not to run this Arcane. It gives you a gigantic ability damage boost and a gigantic critical damage multiplier. So it's always beneficial to run this on any frame that can go invisible. And if you want to, you can make any frame go invisible with evade. So just keep that in mind. And then Molt Augmented for more damage. So if you guys really don't want to do this build in this way, where it's like really heavily into the strength, you can drop something like Blind Rage, which will then reduce your strength by quite a bit, but it will make your abilities a little bit more efficient. And then you can put something in, maybe Vitality or something of the sort, to further increase your survivability, because if your visibility drops, you are going to feel it. He's not the most tanky of frames. And then, of course, his Exalted weapon. Now for this one, just a quick note, I'm running magnetic damage on it, due to of course having the chromatic blade and stuff like that. So magnetic damage on this works really, really well. And we are using everybody's favorite, melee influence. I know people hate this at this point in time, because every single build basically used melee influence for quite a while since the Exalted reworks. But just something to note when it comes to this, you can swap out melee influence for something like melee afflictions, because his heavy attack flings people left and right, so it is not the worst idea to run this. And then you can run a totally different element if you want to. Just keep in mind, you are not bound to running melee influence on this build. It just works extremely well. That's pretty much it. So we have Voltaic Strike for more electricity and status chance because of the melee influence, of course. Primed Pressure Point, Blood Rush, Gladiator Might, Weeping Woods, Galvanized Steel, Shocking Touch, and Galvanized Elementalist. Now, when you do a heavy attack, you will see the melee influence actually pop off. It's quite nice to see like just hundreds of thousands and millions of damage just arc around and just kill everything on the map. It's very satisfying. But like I said, if you guys don't want to run melee influence and you don't like the idea of, you know, trying to spread a status element or damage via electricity procs, that is totally fine and reasonable, of course. So then just swap that out for something like I said. Melee afflictions work well. You can also go ahead and do melee duplicate if you have a max level melee duplicate, of course. That would be very, very beneficial as well. And then swap out your elements as you want. But yeah, that's the build for Excalibur Umbra. So yeah, like I said, that's the build. If you guys, once again, if you guys do not want this really, really last cannon gameplay style, whatever you want to call it, you can go ahead and drop the Blind Rage for more efficiency. You can drop it for more health, you know, that type of thing. It's entirely up to you what you want to do in regards of that. Just don't do any range on this build, because that is entirely useless. But the rest of it you can play with to make work for you and how you want to play with Excalibur. Of course, Excalibur is pretty much the first frame of many people. I know I chose Excalibur as my first frame as well, and I think he's still my most used, actually, base Excalibur, actually. So yeah, it's definitely nice to see Excalibur be up there in terms of power, considering he is your first Warframe. In other words, you can literally play everything that Warframe has to offer, even Steel Path, and not ever need to swap out your frame ever, because that's just how powerful it is. Yeah, hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you all for watching. I know this video is short, but I don't like doing very long guide videos anymore, because you guys want to see how to build the frame and then go on with your grinding, of course. But yeah, have a great day, everybody. Thank you again for the support. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.